In my last video, I discussed how to release facial tension. So this video, I'm going to talk about releasing tension on every level. So ways of releasing tension on the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual level. So the methods that I'm about to share are ways to release tension in the totality of your being. So it relates to everything. And a lot of these are very intuitive. They're very commonsensical, but the sad thing is most people don't apply these on a regular basis. And so they go on accumulating and accumulating and accumulating negativity and weighing themselves down. So here's a few ways to release. The first is talking things out. So this is the typical psychologist approach. And we all know how good it feels if something's on your mind or if something's troubling you to talk to someone who cares, someone who can lend a compassionate ear and give you some positive, objective feedback regarding whatever's troubling you. We know how powerful that can be. And this won't work for everything, but it can be a really, really good way of working through some specific things. And you have to feel around for what works better being talked out or what works better using some other methods of release. And another method is something that everyone does, but not often enough, and that's laughing. Laughter really is the best medicine, and it's such a good form of release as well. And we all know how good it feels after a good laughing session. After a good belly laugh, you feel so light and free. It's really amazing. So I don't have to go into detail about how good laughing is. Just get that vitamin L every day. Laugh a lot, because it's one of the most healing and therapeutic things you can do for yourself. And on the flip side of laughing, we have crying, which is another thing that people don't do often enough, especially men who are conditioned to be so stoic and emotionless. And crying is a major, major form of release. It's a release from grief, sadness, anything that's troubling us. Crying it's healing. It's, like I said before, it's such a release. And I'm not saying to cry all the time or cry about stupid little things, but there are some things that you really need to cry out and just get it out. I remember when my dog died about 3 years ago, I broke into the hardest tears of my life, and I cried really, really hard for about 2 hours straight. But after that, it was kind of cathartic, and I made peace with it afterwards because I let out the grief that I held from my dog's passing. So crying, allow yourself to cry, because it really is healing. And another way of releasing is screaming. So that primal type of screaming. And that's something that some people never even do throughout their whole lives. We have these bodies. We are animals. In a lot of ways, we are animals. We might think we're so civilized, but we really are. So there are all these things going on inside. There might be frustration or just pure energy, and we have to let it out, So it feels good every once in a while to just let out a good scream. Just go because it's primal. That's primal release right there, okay? So incorporate that kind of stuff. That's why you see, in gyms, people doing those grunts and screams, because they might look like an asshole, but it feels really good to do. It's such a good outlet for any built-up emotions. And then we have, any form of expression is a release. So it could be physical expression, like dancing or singing or exercise, or even walking is a gentle form of release too. And then stretching, doing mobility exercises, doing something like foam rolling, or rolling like one of those therapy balls on your muscles that releases tension. So, and then self-massage, like I talked about in the facial release video too. And then there's other forms of expression like writing or painting or doing any artistic activity is a form of release, and it's a great form of release. Like if something's bothering you or you just feel off, just journal a little bit. That's what I do a lot. I'll just journal, write down my stream of consciousness as it comes, and by the time I wrote just a few sentences, I can already feel the shift, and I feel better because I'm like working through it by externalizing it through writing. And another one we have is deep breathing. Breathing is a solution to almost everything. It's a panacea. So through deep breathing, you can release so much. And a lot of this happens on the unconscious level and in the spiritual realms of reality. So deep breathing, it cleanses and purifies you on so many levels. And you're inhaling life force energy. You're inhaling that prana and bringing life back into your body along with releasing. And especially if you release on the exhale with like a sigh. So if you breathe like that and then, you know, that's why people sigh. People just naturally sigh because it's a form of release. It feels good to just let go because that's what it is. And then the last one I'll talk about is I made a video on this, and that's shaking. So that form of shaking where you stand up and just shake your whole body, that is such a tremendous form of release. And you can watch my video on shaking. I'll link it in the description too. That's probably the best form of release. It feels so damn good, and I do that every morning. So there you have it. Those are some ways to release, and ways of releasing everything you're holding on to on every level too. So try and apply those things on a daily basis. All right? Peace, peace. Much love. One love.